Hello again. Just going to do a quick video today, hopefully. Going to talk a little bit about the mass shootings that have happened this year and before this, mostly this year because it's been a pretty significant year in that type of nonsense. But first off, let me say to the people that have been through this, both in America and abroad, I wish you the best, and I hope that you get through this tragedy. I know, being an Iraq War veteran, that it's hard to get over something like this, but you can, or you can live with it. Yeah, yeah, you can live with it. Um, I don't know if that's the best way to say things, but you can. It gets better. Um, but moving on from that, some of the things I want to talk about may seem a little crazy, but the ones who do watch this, I hope you are able to uh, actually be able to listen all the way through and know that my reasoning for bringing this up is because of many reasons. One, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about mind control. Some of you may know a lot about MK Ultra and different conspiracies like that. However, I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some of the changes that have happened and are occurring in 2012, and actually have occurred for a while now. I'm going all the way back to, once again, 2004 with the big tsunami. Um, the human body is a very interesting thing. Some people may come on and say, well, that's impossible, and back it up with science. But the human conscious, the human spirit, it has a way of telling when things go bad or change, even if they are the slightest change. For instance, actually, I would have to bring up not only the tsunami, but Haiti and Chile and Japan. They say that Chile, they really only say Chile, Haiti, and Japan kind of knocked the Earth off its axis just a slight bit. They said, wait, it's like a millisecond faster or longer the days are, or something of that nature. The human body can tell this. Um, that mixed in with the changes in the universe that are happening both spiritually and rapidly. Uh, those have effect on humanity as well. There's things happening around you. Some of you are aware of that. There are UFOs, there are aliens, and there are other things. But my main purpose is to get into mind control and why I do believe it's happening for many different reasons. Um, um, let me let me start off with, I'm going to go straight up to the Aurora shooting and the type of shooting it was and why I believe this was a weird mind control slash. This is going to sound loony to a lot of people, but there's a lot of things on YouTube that are loony, but I believe it happens, and it is real, and there's no other way that I would believe otherwise. Um, Look at the style of how James Holmes went into that movie theater. It was very similar in a way that almost happens in a comic book, and there is no laughing matter about it. I'm simply saying from a comic book movies such as Batman. Let's not even say a comic book movie, but let's say just a movie style attack. Let's say it that way. That way it's not, I'm not saying this is a comical thing. I don't want my words twisted. Let's say, let's say a movie style attack. The villains, and the henchmen that commence these attacks in these movies is very similar to what James Holmes did. They said he popped some canisters of smoke or CS gas. Then he just started popping off rounds. And he had a little gas mask on with a trench coat. It just sounds like something that almost happened in that new movie. I personally haven't seen it. Me and my girlfriend have boycotted it. And it's a lot of people. I think other people out there have maybe thought that's really strange how that went down. You know, I think the sickest part about it is the fact that that first weekend, the Batman, they made 144 million dollars the very first weekend, and a lot of that was, it shouldn't have made a dime. It should have been in the movies. It should have had like a they should have boycotted or shut it down for a couple months and then released it at a later date. That's just me. The people should have demanded that, but it's not what happened. Instead, they grossed $144 million. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. And um, going into the idea of mind control. Well, there's a series of things that happened this year that people, will say, the bath salts incident with the cannibal, but that happened in China too. There's no bath salts in China. And if there is, I bet it's very minute, like very small amount, not enough to make that happen. That's not just a coincidence, and keep in mind that there was a chemical that was mysteriously found, I think a couple weeks before in Florida, and there was a series of weird events that took place and weird attacks that took place in Florida. And you go into the Aurora Mall shooting and everything that's happened this year and all the things we hear about as far as mind control. Well, MK Ultra is an alien technology. It was given to us. We didn't just develop it. In the universe standards, imagine how you feel here when you guys are when everyone's in fear of a rogue nation, as is said here in America, gets a nuclear bomb, right? A lot of people will say, well, America and Russia worked up to having a nuclear bomb. We went a nuclear bomb. We went through a lot of crazy steps before we got it, and therefore we earned the right to have that technology. Well, this is very similar by the universe. We're skipping a lot of steps to get this technology. And realistically, this technology should never be used. But it is being used, and I believe that. And you call me crazy if you want, but it is being used. And I believe that it's either a matter of we are already at war with China, or it's the other way around. And I've talked about my dreams in the first one, I think, a little bit, and some of the things. And I'm given puzzles, and I'm given pieces. When you have a vision, it doesn't always have to be this long, drawn-out cosmic vision that's just perfectly put together like a paragraph. No, it comes in chunks. It comes in pieces. You're like given tools and puzzles, and then you're able to just put it together. And you have to come up with your own theories, and some of them may be wacky. And sometimes you're given like heads up about things. It's happened to me a couple times, and I don't bring it up, and then it happens, and then sometimes when I bring it up before it does happen. But mostly, a vision is mostly, just a puzzle, and that's what's been happening with this, is I've been given puzzles. You see, I believe that the same species that gave us this technology, if we're not at war, then this is part of the New World Order. If we are at war, then we're just at war. I have reasonings to believe that that's a possibility, that we could be at war just because of the bath salts incident in Florida. Then bam, turn around, the bath salts incident in China, maybe a month later, maybe a month and a half, 2 months later. I could be wrong on that. But and then you look at the mass shootings we've had, which are just extraordinary, and going all the way back to Norway when that guy started, screaming, "There's going to be more," and he's been right. Whether you like it or not, he's been right. You know, um, and so going back to the mind control is, I hope if anybody who's associated, friends, or has anybody killed in a tragedy such as this, understand that I hope in no way am I offending you. I just ask you to please keep an open mind, that this comes from somewhere. This comes from me sitting here and telling you the puzzles I get, the pieces that I get to the puzzle, sorry, and just putting it together, and you look at the situation, and it's just like, I remember when, September 11th happened, like all of us, and, the conspiracies came out. I never believed them. When I went to Iraq, I seen terrorists, but, I've seen, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call them terrorists because they were fighting for their country still. I got to give them the respect for that. But I seen, these, and they're real. There is an Al-Qaeda that does exist, but after everything I've been through, and after this year with these murders that have happened, these mass murders and these mass shootings, the timing of them is just so odd. It's just so weird in the way they happen and the way they go about and the way they occur. And then, with the Batman one, it was just almost like it was a real life, a real life, um, um, advertisement for him. You know, it just didn't make any sense. $144 million in one weekend after a tragedy such as that, and they're still probably continuing to gross revenue from that one movie. And not one person spoke up, which leads me on to my next thing. You can ban weapons all you want. You can ban assault weapons all you want. Handguns, knives, chains, brass knuckles, you can ban them all. But as long as you have a culture that is completely desensitized to the fact that, what was it? I could be wrong with the number on this, but it was over a dozen people died in the Aurora shooting. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact numbers at the top of my head. I heard 50 was injured. I think it was 13 was killed. Feel free to correct me. Um, like I said, I've been through a lot myself, having been in Iraq. So when stuff like this happens, it affects me in a very different way. So when the numbers come out, it's different. Except for this last one, which affected everybody in a very, very terrible way, which is right. And people should feel terrible inside, for this. Um, but I'm asking. I really do ask people that listen to this and get to this far in what I'm saying to really keep an open mind and to really understand that look at this last shooting, just the way it went down and the timing of it again, and his computer supposedly smashed. In the very beginning, they said 2 shootings, 1 committed suicide, 1 got away. I know I heard that. I know I heard this. There's no way I'm the only one that didn't hear this. Something fishy is going on. Keep an open mind about this. Don't automatically call somebody crazy. And in my last video, it was all over the place. And but this is part of the crossroads in December 22nd, when we all wake up and realize that valid, we're awake, but we have to change. Because mark my words, if we don't change, we continue the way we're gonna go. The way we're going. Just because the world doesn't end in one day doesn't mean it can't 10 years. You don't have to have a date. Humanity could wake up and all of a sudden you guys are all just realize that you're dead. You don't have to be physically dead to realize your species is dead. You're dead. Your species is going to be dead. Don't believe it? Look up Japan in 100 years. There's been some news reports about Japan being extinct in 100 years. Why is that? Fukushima is not spraying out nuclear waste right now. you know, it's hard because you realize some of the things you're saying, but it's real, and a lot of things have happened weird around me this year and the last 2 or 3 years. In fact, my life, it's been a wild ride for me, and it will continue to be. But like I realize that we, as a species here on Earth and abroad, that we have a responsibility to become better than what we are. And I'm one to say that because I've done some pretty, not awful things, but some pretty stupid things, some pretty bad things. Not been the best with people. I just tend to burn bridges, but I'm a good person, and so are the people that have been around me. And I think, we're bred here on Earth to be untrustworthy, or at least here in America, to not trust our neighbor, and it's gotten worse. And that's got to change, but there's got a lot that has to change inside. And I do believe that NASA, the government, the church is going to take advantage of the 22nd of December, and they're going to try to not really outlaw talk like this, but they're going to try to make it a mental health issue, or they're going to try to make it look like there's a mental health issue. When reality is there's just a lot of people that have a lot of questions, and this last shooting just brought up a lot inside of me, a lot more inside of me. I mean, this has been a weird awakening from me. I woke a long time ago, but it's brought me to this point. And this, I really hope, people don't just, go the route they did on September 11th and just accept this, because something about this isn't right. Something about a lot of things this year isn't right. And I'm going to jump a real quick subject and go back into mind control and psyops. Well, we've been through a psyop of violence for almost the last intense violence, and it's gotten more. With our video games. Only video games you really see on TV, some fantasy games, but mostly games about the end of the world and people dying. And people getting shot and killed, and that's wrong. We need to wake up and stop this. And same thing with the violence and a kid sees a body get decapitated before they know what love is. They know what somebody getting shot is before they know what love is. It's not weapons. It's not, you can be responsible and own a rifle. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what kind it is. If you're a responsible human being, you can do that. And same thing with, even, video games aren't a bad thing. You just need to cut back. There doesn't need to be 40 war games out in 1 week. And same thing with CSI shows. There doesn't need to be a CSI in every damn city. Really? I mean, come on now. How many people need to get decapitated? I bet you tonight, look at TV tonight, they cut back a little bit. But honestly, we don't have to be a society of tight asses. We can have a good time. We can still be who we are and who you are, and that's here and abroad. I'm gonna finish this up, but because I don't want this to be that long. But we created, along with an outside dark source, created a violent matrix, a really messed up world for ourselves. But we can get past them, and we can get past ourselves if you just look deep within. And you know, and that's it. And I hope you guys get some out of this. Take care. Hope I don't look scary. I really shouldn't. I just don't like showing my face. Take care. Love you. Peace.